Welcome in. It's Aero, and we are covering... Hey, Zeus. Hey, Flambe, how are you? Howdy, howdy. Nice to see you there. Cam, can you guys hear the audio from NASA on your side? Or have you only heard me? Oh, hey, Fuda, how are you, buddy? You only hear me, thank you. Right now, there's no audio. Now there's audio. Gotcha. Thank you.
And 14.5 minutes until we land in White Sands, New Mexico. The Starliner enters Earth's atmosphere at 17 times the speed of sound, which could create a sonic boom for folks living in the area. It will then be slowed down by parachutes to a speed very similar to what you might experience while going down an elevator inside a high-rise building. The vehicle then comes to a safe, comfortable stop at landing.
Gotcha. We should have the audio now. Please let me know if it disappears.
Seconds now until the blackout period begin. Due to the compression of friction and friction of the air, the molecules generate a very hot plasma that causes the red-orange glow you often see appear in post-flight imagery on many spacecraft. Although we won't get to see that tonight, it will happen. Causes an expected communication dropout. This one will last 4.5 minutes as the vehicle goes through a time when the plasma interferes with the satellite signal. We expect that blackout to end around 10:52 p.m. Central.
So where we are right now is the spacecraft is
This is also the time that I mentioned earlier where a Starliner in the past 2 flights has gotten that black mark along the sides of it, and that just really proves to our team that the ablative heat shield or the ablative material around Starliner is doing its job, and the heat shield is pushing that plasma away.
Okay, I'm going to lower the audio there a little bit so I can speak. So, quick recap. We've gotten away from the space station successfully, obviously. And sorry, she's talking. I can hear it, but you can't. I'm going to put her audio back up here.
Milestones we'll be watching for include forward heat shield jettison at 10:56 when Starliner is about 4.3 miles above the Earth. Very soon after.
And I'm gonna mute it there. So, where we are, the spacecraft has successfully separated from the International Space Station. It is going through what's called the re-entry interface now. The deorbit burn has apparently gone for the most part successfully. She was describing how the ablative material on the heat shield on prior flights, which also were uncrewed, but were designed to be uncrewed from the start, was working correctly. There were actually some issues with the way the heat shield was ablating, but it did in fact protect the spacecraft and it got down safely. So we're not looking at a parking lot of a Walmart or a Lowe's DIY center somewhere in Wyoming. We are, in fact, looking at the New Mexico desert in this shot with obviously night vision or infrared. I believe this is just simply very low light or night vision camera system. The spacecraft is meant to come down and land on land itself, not splash down. It'll be coming down under parachutes if all things work correctly. And then it has basically an airbag system to help soften the final touchdown, along with these little retro rockets that'll fire at the last moment. And that's where we are right now. To answer your question, Zeus, I believe it's going to come down from the Pacific side, so you may not see it from where you are. Possibly, though. This looks like a Nikon camera view that they're showing at the moment.
This is a live view from the International Space Station, where we're able to get a view of Starliner's track as it comes in. We are now less than 10 minutes away from landing at the White Sands Space Harbor, scheduled for 11 p.m. Central. Also getting reports that the WB-57 is also able to see Starliner now as it begins coming in for its landing. We've still got just about a minute left to go before Starliner comes out of its blackout period. And this is a view from the WB-57,
Gotcha.
one of NASA's aircraft that is at the landing site, has been
Hello, Cash.
staged
How are
and
you?
ready
Welcome
to
in,
pick
buddy.
the
Good to
Starliner,
see you.
or pick up the view of Starliner as it comes in, and that is what we are seeing now.
And they're filming this video from about 16,000 feet.
This is actually a very old aircraft.
The should continue to give us a view until the drogue parachutes deploy, and then we hope to pick it up with the Cessna that is also in the area.
I wonder if the Cessna is being operated by Wolf Air. It's a company that I do some work with. It's a Cessna 337 push-pull
And flight controllers
twin.
here in the room are reporting that we are out of that blackout period and everything is looking good. Starliner remaining nominal as she returns to Earth.
Again, this is a view from the WB-57.
Sorry to hear that, Cam.
Starliner showing a beautiful streak across the sky as she returns to White Sands, New Mexico.
This WB-57 or B-57 is a very, very old aircraft that does a lot of duty with NASA as a photo chase
We're about
aircraft.
3 minutes away from the forward heat shield jettisoning. That's the next milestone we're looking for.
They've also done this
Starliner is currently
platform.
about 27 miles above the Earth, and the team at White Sands reporting that they have seen it. We got a tally hole from them reported remotely.
The platform, not the specific aircraft, have done storm chasing.
That means they are seeing Starliner from the ground there in New Mexico.
Hurricane hunting, that sort of thing, as well as being, of course, a military bomber aircraft, hence the B-57 designation. The way this thing comes down is fairly unceremonious. It's going to basically plop in the desert, and they're going to drive up to it.
This view is coming from the Cessna that's also in the area, picking up Starliner now from its lower altitude, about 6,000 feet above, whereas the WB-57 is about 16,000 feet up. We are now just 6 minutes and 22 seconds away from landing. We should also just be a couple minutes away from the forward heat shield jettison, which will bring on the drogue parachute deploy, followed by the main parachutes.
Boeing right now is saying, see, we could have brought the astronauts
and the
back. We could have brought the astronauts back.
Starliner are now on.
We could have brought the astronauts back.
Starliner is now over the landing site, and that strobe light will help the teams actually track Starliner on the ground because it is very dark out there.
Now about 12 miles above the landing site and just 5 minutes away from landing.
Little known fact, if they were on board, they would have to be going through a TSA screen and immigration and passport control upon landing. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. However, their luggage very well may have been lost. It's amazing how fascinated we are by looking at a blob of light smeared across the screen.
Watching now for the forward heat shield jettison. That should be coming up. Again, making way for the parachute deployment.
Because this really isn't recognizable, is it, chat?
All right, and that action you're seeing on your screen, forward heat shield and drogues out.
Really interesting view of this coming down from the WB-57.
Kind of a terrifying
drogue
perspective.
Now deployed. They slow the vehicle down initially until it gets to a safe speed for the enormous main parachutes to follow.
You just saw one of the tricks of
About
cinema
4 minutes
there.
to go until touchdown.
You use a long lens to compress a moving object against a very big background, and it looks like it's moving very fast.
Now back to a view from the Cessna aircraft in the vicinity of the landing site. Again, this is a view from a little lower than the WB-57 we were seeing.
Right, Zeus? 100%. Thanks for being here, buddy. Thanks to everybody for being here.
The 3 main parachutes come out, and everything will happen pretty quickly from that point on.
After those mains are out, we'll see the bottom heat shield that has been protecting Starliner through its journey through the atmosphere come off. That makes way for the landing airbags to deploy.
Can you imagine what this ride is like for people on board when they are on board?
And there's the main parachutes there on your screen. We see 3 out.
We see 3 out, but we see 2 good ones. All right, the third one looks like it's actually filling now.
And the teams at the landing recovery teams report that they heard the booms.
That looks pretty good.
As those came out, 3 good mains fully open there. You can see Starliner in a slight tilt, so we're going to see the rotation handle move here shortly, and it will level out Starliner. But 3 good parachutes, looking great.
Just a little over 2 minutes until the expected landing time, and we heard the rotational handle has been released, so you can see that tilt evened out. Next up is the back heat shield jettison.
The way the parachutes are bumping together, there goes the heat shield.
And there it goes.
And this will expose the retro rockets and the airbags. There you go.
See that? You can see the airbags deploying there on your screen. Those airbags are filled with nitrogen as they guide Starliner safely back to the desert floor.
Oh, the airbags don't guide it. The airbags will just cushion the landing. I feel like the way the chutes were, main chutes were bumping together, felt like they were potentially somewhat destabilizing of the approach and landing. But they've moved further apart, and they themselves have, have reduced their rate of interaction.
Just a beautiful sight as Starliner makes its way to the sands of New Mexico.
the parachute envelopes are susceptible to collapse, which is why I was concerned.
6 good airbags.
This view still coming to us from the Cessna. We've got just about a minute left to go until the expected touchdown. I'll be watching for that time for you.
This is looking pretty good, though. Fairly nominal.
Just about 15 seconds away from expected touchdown.
We're back to the Cessna's POV.
You're seeing the ground there in your screen as we get closer.
Could see some dust blow up. That'll be not only from just the nominal impact, but also from, I think, their little retro rockets that will fire. I believe that's a system on this platform, just like it is on Blue Origin. It looks a little bit like a crash has taken place, but it's just meant to soften the rate of descent prior to touchdown. Yeah, exactly, Zeus. Appreciate you folks hanging out with us in chat live. Really do. Here we go.
Touchdown. Starliner is back on Earth. That landing coming at 11:01 and 35 seconds Central Time, 10:01 and 31 seconds Mountain Time at White Sands Space Harbor at the U.S. Army's Missile Range in New Mexico. Our landing and recovery teams will now wait for clearance before making their way to the spacecraft.
So down the Boeing Starliner is
required with no crew on board is that the team here in the flight control room will be the ones to command the parachute to be cut away so that the wind doesn't pull the capsule along, but that's no problem for them. So now with Starliner down, they can begin working on some of the post-landing to-do items. Again, we saw...
Right. Just to take her audio down. So here amongst the tumbleweeds in the New Mexico desert, Starliner, the Boeing Starliner, has in fact returned in one piece. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow for Boeing. They're going to be happy that the system worked as advertised, but they're going to be pretty upset that they did not, in fact, get to do this with the two crew members aboard, Sunny and Butch, as was intended originally on this mission. And they're going to probably want to be telling NASA, "I told you so." That's a natural attitude for them to have, but I think NASA's perspective on this is also very reasonable. Those are the drogue chutes, I believe, still drifting down after they've been cut away. Seen from the, I believe this is a Wolf Air Cessna 337 Skymaster aircraft. It's unique in that it's a twin-engine aircraft where the engines are arranged fore and aft. There's one in the nose and one behind the fuselage, and they've got a gyron stabilized camera system mounted on the aircraft. They do quite a bit of this domestic work. I may be wrong about it, but I believe that is the aircraft that's performing this. I've actually been aboard it, if that is the aircraft, and I can share pictures like that into the Discord if anybody in chat is interested. The Japan Airlines work, in fact, that I did the second time, which I share on my Twitch streams quite often, that was done on the Wolf Air, same company operator, Learjet, which is one of the reasons why I know about their Cessna. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, an absolute legend has stopped in. John Ostrower, how are you, my friend? I can't believe that you popped by. Folks, John Ostrower is the publisher and editor, and forgive me if I'm getting that wrong, of the Air Current. He is a former Wall Street Journal and CNN and Flight International, aerospace journalist. He is everything I would be if I was what I wanted to be in this profession. The best guy, the most professional, the most accomplished, and the nicest human being. John Ostrauer, how are you? Thank you. I am so honored by your presence. I'm truly, truly honored. I got chills. I hope you and your lovely family are doing well, bud. Hey, Fuego, how are you? It's all true, John. It's all true. Well, Boeing is going to... John, would you agree that Boeing is going to have mixed feelings about this? They're going to be glad that they came down in one piece, but pretty pissed off there were no people on board. Fuego, good to see you. Yeah, so Starliner came down in one piece, but no humans on board. And John, to tell you how sincere it was, it's 91 degrees Fahrenheit in the room I'm in because there's no insulation in this place because California is supposed to be, not a hot place and we get breezes. There is actually a portable air conditioner in my office and the temperature was 97, 98 degrees just less than an hour ago. My brain is pickled, but the reason I was able to tell the chat those nice things about you is that they were at hand because every single word was true. 100% true. Easy to access. Folks, if you've heard me mention the Yaman flight controller, speaking of John, there's a Yaman flight controller that I've been discussing with chat on the Twitch streams from time to time. John is one of the co-inventors and co-founders of the company that makes that. That is a alternative. I don't want to call it a substitute. It's an alternative flight controller that's handheld for people that like to play flying games. So it works with Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't know whether it works with DCS or not. Not from memory. But John is also one of the geniuses behind that very highly regarded product. Well, John, I've been sharing over on the Discord the air current articles. For example, the one, I think you saw me share it on Twitter as well. I'm not calling it X. On the V-22 Osprey investigation that Elan did. Elan? Forgive me, I can't remember how to pronounce her name properly and respectfully. That was just such good reporting. So authoritative, so detailed, so nuanced and granular, and yet entertaining to read. Gotcha, John. I'm gonna pull up John's actual publication, folks. If you want to see how a real journalist does this, I just want to share a link to John's publication. Give me 2 seconds. Just so you know who we're dealing with actual royalty here. So John publishes the Air Current, and he's the editor and the founder, and it's a real aerospace news publication. As I mentioned, former Wall Street Journal. Yeah, 100%. I have had the pleasure of meeting Elan. Is it Elan? Elaine? It's not Elaine, right? It's Elan in person at the HAI show in Anaheim the year before COVID hit hard. Actually, the year COVID hit hard. It was the last event I attended, and it was the event I attended just after getting to hang out with you in Las Vegas at MBAA. Thank you. She was moderating a panel discussion there on I believe it was urban air mobility, advanced air mobility. And of course, she did an extraordinary job. And I got to chat with her a bit because I don't know that she knew I knew you at the time, but she knew that we had some other friends in common. And one of them in particular had asked that I introduce myself and say hello. So there's also a piece out. What was the other piece you guys just published recently that is air safety related? Was it the A350 piece, or was it the 777 engine strut piece? There was another one that you folks had done and you made available outside the paywall because it was air safety related. Anyway, great publication, folks. And John is just the nicest human being and most unbelievably skilled and talented and hardworking. Okay, so I do remember that. Yeah, if you look at the About Us publication, you'll see that I recited his resume, the About Us portion of it, with a fair degree of accuracy. John, you're seeing some of the folks that are hanging out here, that are saying hello, that are part of my wonderful Twitch community. We stream there goes the NASA feed. Let's pull something else up. Bear with me one moment. Professional streamer, ladies and gentlemen. One more moment here. Why is my nebula loop not showing? There we go. There's our nebula loop. Some animation. But this is the other link I wanted to share with chat. There we go. We should be streaming. Are we not streaming out? Maybe there's a delay. We should be streaming out the loop here. Yeah, so these are the folks from the wonderful Twitch community. We've got a few thousand of them that are following now, closing in on 5,000, I think. Normally we have a few hundred doing the show 3 nights a week live, and things are generally speaking going a bit smoother than the termination of this live stream on YouTube. As John, I'm sure you know, the live streaming tools on YouTube are a bit less refined than they are over on Twitch. I'm a bit stumped by the preview I'm seeing. But other than talking about Starliner here, and one of these days, John, we should catch up on the phone, which is, I know, going to be difficult because you're a very busy person. But folks, if you do play a Microsoft Flight Simulator, and yes, it works with DCS, there we go. If you do play a Microsoft Flight Simulator or DCS, I don't know if it works with some of the space flight games like Kerbal or Star Citizen, but definitely check that out. We've got at least one community member that is a big fan of it. I shared with John some of the comments that they had made during a recent live stream. Well, it looks like there's about a 3 or 4 minute delay to the stream. Interesting. I love the suggested videos that it's showing. A combination of comedy, space, and science. Well, I'm gonna probably call it there, as I actually have some other videos to. There's the animated globular background. I'm going to call it there, since there's really not much going on, unless chat wanted to discuss the Boeing Starliner program and the issues that they're having, or ask John questions about. I mean, I don't mean to put him on the spot, but you could ask him questions. He's capable of answering questions about the safety of the Boeing 737, 777, and 787. So forgive me, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Yeah. Let's call it there, though. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Come see me over on Twitch, of course. And if you're interested in checking out the other videos on this channel, it'd be much appreciated. I do stream on Twitch 3 nights a week. The link will be down in the description. Would see you Monday, Zeus. Love it, John. I realize that's going to need to be at your discretion, given how busy you are, but would very much like to catch up with you, buddy. And again, hand on heart, very honored that you stopped by. Sorry that things were a bit unpolished here on YouTube. If you do check out, you're curious to go check out the Twitch channel, you'll see we're doing pretty well over there. And we generally have a fairly polished show. Zeus is one of my teammates who plays with me regularly on stream, and we have a pretty good time. All right, folks, I will call it there. Thank you so much for joining me on this little adventure, watching a bit of aviation and space history. The Starliner's flight has been storied, but not necessarily in the best possible way, which is unfortunate. I think all of us would love to see the space age that we dreamed of as children, and we're not quite there yet. Space is, as others have said before me, incredibly, incredibly hard. Make no bones about it. But this mission has been flawed and flubbed, and Boeing definitely deserves their share of the blame, including the way that they have supervised and communicated with their thruster vendor Aerojet Rocketdyne. Forgive me. As I said, my brain is slightly pickled from the heat. But onward and upward. Hopefully they will have better luck in the future, and this program in some form can be salvaged. Oh, John, I think my chat would love to have you come in as a guest on like Discord and talk about flying. I think that they would love that. There's a regular segment we do. They call it Story Time with Uncle Aero, because I'll bring out some of the old pictures, including, thanks to Guy. Guy sent me a photo that he took of us in a C2 Greyhound on the way to the aircraft carrier Carl Vinson, and we share those images and tell stories about some of those assignments, those field assignments over the years, and folks generally seem to really enjoy that. The community loves aviation, space, and defense. Yeah, well, in fact, John, the gentleman who's just commented below you is one of my very dear members of my community, and he's an active general aviation pilot, just as an example. I hope. Oh, I would love to bring Guy along. I would love to bring Guy along. I don't know that he's available, but I would love to do that. I do hear from him, but I would love to do that. Chat would the tone is silly in the Twitch chats. I make fun of myself. They make fun of me as an old John, one of my community members, do I have the emote here to share? I don't have it here to share because it's YouTube. On Twitch, there's an emote of a giraffe. And the reason there's an emote of a giraffe is that one of my community members has described me as the nerdy, bespeckled, malnourished giraffe. They take the piss, as our English friends would say, out of the old man. And they do it with a lot of love. But we definitely have a good time. Non-toxic, friendly, fun, and passionate about things that fly. It's a good community. 2-drink minimum sounds fantastic. It's truly a wonderful community. And I'm sorry I don't have the giraffe emote here, but it's YouTube. They don't give us all the options. Yeah, John, actually, I think you would really like these folks, and they would love you. Absolutely love you. I've in addition to Thilo there, we've got folks that stop by that are ex-FAA inspector pilots that currently work for the airline industry, naval architects, legit sea captains that command giant cargo ships. It's a very diverse, very fun, very interesting community of folks. We have a good time. One of my regular guys is an ex F-111 crew member, ground crew, avionics guy. So lots of diverse folks in the aviation, space, and defense world. I am babbling though. It's me. It's also 91 degrees still in here at 9:22 at night. So I'm going to take what's left of my sous vide cerebellum and wrap this up. John, I'll reach out to you, assuming I can get past the restraining order that you put out on me. Kidding. I'll reach out to you, and if we can connect on it, I genuinely think you would enjoy these folks. There's, as I say, on a typical stream now, we're getting anywhere from about 150 to 300 people. It varies, but we've been inching closer to the 200 number, all in chat, all at the same time over there. And sometimes we get some pretty insane raids. We made it to the front page of Twitch. I think I mentioned this to you on the 4th of August. So on the 4th of August, there was 6,000 people actually watching the stream at once last month. Some really, really good folks. All right. So with that, folks, come see me on Twitch. Watch videos on this channel. Drop the subscription here, which is free, and thumbs up on this video if you liked it. Otherwise, my friends, as I like to say when I'm wrapping up the streams on Twitch, in the crazy world that we're living in, let the folks that matter to you know that they do matter. There's accidents and disease that take folks from us with no warning whatsoever. So don't ever find yourself, I would advise, from life experience, having somebody be gone and not having told them how much you care about them or love them as is appropriate. Put a hand on your friend's shoulder. And until next time, I hope that you and yours fare well.